Pam, and today I'm going to show you a short demonstration called Earth the Apple of Our Eye. This is a quick demonstration you can do with elementary, middle, or secondary students to start a discussion on land use and whether we'll have enough food for a growing population. So to start off the demonstration, you want to hold up an apple and let students know that this apple is going to represent the surface of our planet Earth. Now, because we want to find out how much food-producing land we have, the first thing I'll need to do is to eliminate the portions of the apple that represent water. So water covers almost 3/4 of the globe. So I'm going to take my apple and I'm going to cut it into quarters. So this 3/4 represents primarily the oceans and also inland waterways, and I'm going to set those aside. So the remaining quarter of the apple represents land, all the land mass on the planet. Now we know that much of the land mass is not even habitable, let alone able to grow food. So at this point, I'm going to cut off the fraction that represents uninhabitable land. Well, that's really half of all the land on the planet. So now I have two 1/8 portions. So the 1/8 that represents uninhabitable land, you might want to show students a world map or a globe and point out or have them point out the areas that are uninhabitable. Areas like deserts or tundra or areas that are too cold, rocky, wet. For whatever reason, people don't live there and can't grow food. So now you might ask students what fraction you're holding. Well, it's 1/8. But this represents habitable land, but just because land is habitable doesn't mean that it's available to grow food. In fact, most of the land where people live is used for our cities, our suburbs, our campuses. Some might be wildlife preserves or national parks. But most of it is not available as what we call arable land, food-producing land. So I'm going to take that section and I'm going to cut it into 4. So each of these sections represents 1/32 of the apple. And I'm going to take 3 of those, 3/32, and I'm going to set those aside. And these represent, as I mentioned, our built communities or areas that we've set aside for other purposes. It might be forests, it might be natural spaces, but a lot of it is also going to be land that's been developed for all kinds of human use. So here we have 1/32, which is roughly 3% of the surface of the Earth. Now this is what we depend on to grow all the food for our current population of 7 billion people. Demographers expect that we'll be at 9 billion people by the middle of this century. So that's less than 40 years to think about how we'll continue to feed that many more people on Earth. Now, this is very fragile land because topsoil is only about 5 feet deep. So at this point, you might want to just cut off just the top layer, the top peeling of that section to show students and to generate a discussion about what is happening to this section as our population continues to grow and demand for food continues to grow, and also demand for land for all other sorts of purposes. So with younger students, you might lead a discussion on where our food comes from and getting them to think about food coming from all over the planet that comes to their dinner table. For older students, you can get into very rich discussions about all different kinds of land use, about agricultural techniques, what kind of diet we have, what kind of diet people around the globe have. So this is a great discussion starter, and on the activity you'll find lots of great age-appropriate discussion questions. There are 2 versions of this activity, Earth the Apple of Our Eye Elementary, Earth the Apple of Our Eye Middle Secondary. There's also an activity called Earth Cookie, which is for much younger students, and instead of an apple we use a large cookie or representation of a cookie and divide it into different sections like an edible pie chart. So this is the activity, Earth the Apple of Our Eye.